Would you like to learn the area rule for a triangle very, very quickly? Here's how. When we're studying triangles that do not contain a right angle, there are three basic trigonometric equations that we need to learn: the area rule, the sine rule and the cosine rule. And in this video I'm going to show you how to derive the area rule. Interestingly, we use the same diagram to derive all three equations. Here it is. We draw a triangle without a right angle and label it A, B and C. And following convention, the side opposite vertex A has length A, the side opposite vertex B has length B, and the side opposite vertex C has length C. And we draw a perpendicular from C to the other side. I'll put a right angle on both sides. We'll call this height H. Now, we're deriving the area rule, so how do you find the area of the triangle? I'll put a little triangle here. How do you find the area of a triangle? Well, it's half the base times the height. The base is length C. Remember that C is the entire length of this line. And the height is H. So it's half of C times H. That's our area. The problem is that when we're studying triangles, we normally don't know what the altitude or the height is inside. We're normally given the lengths of the sides of the triangle. So we also need to find, from one of these small right angle triangles, another way of describing H. Notice in this triangle, for example, that if I find the tangent or the sine of A, it will refer to H as the opposite side of the triangle. Now, I don't want to relate to this little bit of line here, this interval, because I don't know its length, but I do know the length of this side is B. What ratio uses the opposite over hypotenuse? It's sine. So we know that sine A from this triangle is H over B. If you've already seen my video about the sine rule, you will have seen this derived already. By multiplying both sides of the equation by B to get rid of this fraction, you can see that B sine A equals H. And that's the expression for H that we want to use in our area. So the area is half C times H. Now H is B sine A. Now a lot of school textbooks will write the half at the front. By convention, we like to write these pronumerals in alphabetical order and write the more complex function at the end, which is the sine function. So the area is half BC sine A. If we used this triangle instead of this one, we would have had half AC sine B, and if we drew this height or this altitude to one of the other sides, we would have got one of the other expressions as well. So half AC sine B or half AB sine C. And these are the three forms of the area rule for a triangle. I want you to notice that each letter appears just once. And interestingly, because of the way we label the sides, if we chose sides B and C, for example, you can see that side B and side C are attached to angle A. Angle A lies between them. If we use this formula, angle B lies between A and C. A and C, angle B. If we use this one, angle C lies between sides A and B. Side A, side B, angle C. So when I think of finding the area and I have a triangle to analyse, I think of this shape, a bit like a letter C actually, where I'm using one side and the angle and another side. That's the pattern to use. How do we learn it? Well, the derivation does not take long, and I really do encourage you to draw this and derive it, draw the diagram, derive this formula at least to here, just once every afternoon for a few days. The whole operation might take you 2 minutes or 3 minutes, so it's not going to take a great deal of time, but it's a tremendous investment in understanding your mathematics. So, again, set time aside so you can actually concentrate, get away from all distractions, because then you really will learn very rapidly. Derive, which will take you about 2 minutes, and then use the formula to answer a few questions. And after you've done enough of this, you might do it for 1 night or 2 nights or 3 nights. Ask yourself the question, do I understand it well enough, and am I fast enough? You should be able to answer yes after at least a couple of nights. Your third question is, how long before I'm likely to forget? And that's when you use your diary to plan your next revision. So if you think you're going to survive for 3 months, then 3 months from now, in your diary, you make a little note to derive the area rule and to answer a few questions again. And hopefully you can do it before you've forgotten, because relearning takes time. And this kind of revision can be very swift, and it's an excellent way of learning your formulae. Thank you for watching.